sixth season of the show 1,000-Pound Sisters. With her recipe for white chocolate shrimp Alfredo, Amy Slaton caused a stir in the culinary world, and nevertheless, how did her intriguing dish turn out? It should come as no surprise that Amy, who is 37 years old, has always been unconventional. Therefore, it is not surprising that her ability to think outside the box extends to her cooking abilities. Not only has Amy undergone bariatric surgery and shed a considerable amount of weight since making her debut on television in the year 2020, but she has also gone through a tremendous number of personal transformations. In addition to shedding pounds, the star of Sisters Season 6, who weighed 1,000 pounds, went through a divorce, became a single mother, and fought with issues related to her mental health. Amy exerted a great deal of effort in order to adjust to her new life, and she was eager to demonstrate to her siblings that she had finally settled everything down. There was a dinner party that Amy prepared, and the food that she served was just as one of a kind as Amy herself. Continue reading to learn more about Amy's strange new recipe, as well as the feedback that her dinner party attendees had on the delectable dish. Amy desired to make a good impression on her family. The personal development of Amy was one of the primary focuses of the sixth season of 1,000-Pound Sisters. As the previous season came to a close, Amy Halterman had finalized her divorce from Michael Halterman and was now raising their two children, Guy and Glenn Halterman, on her own alone. During this season, Amy prioritized her sons and on organizing her home in order to better serve them. Amy's dinner party was a celebration of her desire to demonstrate to her siblings that she had matured, but the unusual food that she served caused eyebrows to be raised. Recipe for white chocolate shrimp Alfredo, developed by Amy. In the sixth season of 1,000-Pound Sisters, Amy went to the grocery shop in order to get the necessary ingredients for her dinner party. When Amy described the items she needed for her bespoke pasta dish, the store clerk who assisted her was taken aback. To begin, she said that she needed onion powder, ranch powder, garlic powder, vanilla, and Creole seasoning. In her description of her new meal, Amy said, "It's like regular Alfredo, just add chocolate chips." Since Amy made her debut on television, she has shed 125 pounds, and as a result, people are always curious about her diet. Dinner party hosted by Amy. The evening of Amy's dinner party, she was filled with anxiety. Over the course of the sixth season of 1,000-Pound Sisters, Amy hosted supper for her three sisters, Tammy Slaton, who is 38 years old, Misty Wentworth, who is 48 years old, and Amanda Halterman, who is 43 years old. During the time that Amy was serving her unexpected dish, her sisters appeared suspicious, and it was clear that they were not anticipating much. The concoction was gently tasted by all of them, and they were all startled to find that they actually enjoyed it. They compared it to a mole prepared in a Mexican way. Amy was ecstatic that she was finally able to make a good impression on her sisters, and she plans to continue doing so in the future. Sisters star weighing 1,000 pounds. A. Slaton, Amy. Initiated the 28th of October, 1987, 37 years old. Numerology sign, a Scorpion. The status of relationships is divorced. Little ones. 2. Amy Slaton, best known for her appearances on the reality TV series 1,000-Pound Sisters, has captured the hearts of viewers with her unfiltered personality, candid struggles with weight loss, and her often humorous take on life. Over the years, Amy has shared glimpses of her personal journey, including her attempts at cooking and experimenting with recipes. One of her more peculiar culinary endeavors came when she attempted to create a white chocolate shrimp Alfredo, a dish that seemed to combine unlikely ingredients in an unexpected way. This bizarre combination left fans wondering, how did her experiment turn out? Was it a success, or did it fall flat? In this article, we will dive into Amy's culinary experiment, analyze the ingredients, and explore how this unconventional recipe became one of her most talked about moments on 1,000 Pound Sisters. The setting: Amy Slaton's kitchen. Amy Slaton's kitchen has been the backdrop of many memorable moments on 1,000 Pound Sisters. It's where she's cooked meals for her family, shared recipes passed down through generations, and even tried to create some of her more daring concoctions. The kitchen, cozy and familiar, is often a space where Amy can let her creativity shine, even if it's with some unconventional choices. In one particularly memorable episode, Amy decided to take on the challenge of creating an unexpected twist on the classic shrimp Alfredo. But this wasn't just any Alfredo. She was going to add white chocolate to the mix. The combination of shrimp, a savory pasta dish, and a sweet ingredient like white chocolate sounded both intriguing and odd, raising eyebrows among her fans. Amy had always been passionate about food, and like many home cooks, she enjoyed experimenting with new recipes. This time, she was pushing the boundaries of flavor combinations, and the result would be anything but ordinary. But how did she come up with such an unusual idea? Did she have a specific inspiration, or was she simply trying to add a bit of fun to her cooking? Let's explore the components of Amy's recipe and how this bold experiment unfolded. The ingredients: a fusion of sweet and savory. At the heart of any great dish lies its ingredients, and Amy's white chocolate shrimp Alfredo was no exception. The recipe itself, while eccentric, incorporated some familiar elements alongside the rather surprising addition of white chocolate. Here's a breakdown of the components. 1. Shrimp. A standard feature of shrimp Alfredo, shrimp was a familiar choice in this dish. Amy opted for peeled and deveined shrimp, which would cook quickly and absorb the flavors of the sauce. Shrimp, with its delicate texture and mild flavor, would theoretically pair well with the creaminess of the Alfredo sauce. 2. Alfredo sauce. The creamy, buttery Alfredo sauce is traditionally made from butter, heavy cream, and Parmesan cheese. This sauce serves as the base for the pasta dish and would be the canvas on which Amy's experiment would unfold. The richness of the sauce, with its luxurious texture, would play a key role in either enhancing or clashing with the sweetness of the white chocolate. 3. White chocolate. This was the wild card ingredient. White chocolate, known for its sweetness and creamy texture, is not something typically found in savory pasta dishes. Amy melted the white chocolate into the Alfredo sauce, hoping it would create a rich, sweet contrast to the savory elements of the dish. The idea of blending chocolate with shrimp might have seemed outlandish to many, but Amy was undeterred in her pursuit of culinary creativity. 4. Pasta. No Alfredo would be complete without pasta, and Amy chose fettuccine for its wide, flat noodles that can hold a generous amount of creamy sauce. The pasta would serve as the vehicle to transport the shrimp and Alfredo sauce into every bite. 5. Garlic and seasonings. While garlic is often a key player in traditional Alfredo recipes, Amy added her own spin with various seasonings, including salt, pepper, and perhaps a dash of paprika. These seasonings would provide the savory backdrop for the rich sweetness of the white chocolate. The idea of combining shrimp, Alfredo sauce, and white chocolate may have seemed perplexing to many, but Amy was determined to make it work. She was confident that this combination would produce a unique and flavorful dish, even though it was clear that the ingredients weren't your average pairing. The cooking process. A bold move in the kitchen, Amy's cooking process was full of enthusiasm and an air of experimentation. As she set to work in her kitchen, it became clear that she wasn't overly concerned with following traditional rules of cooking. For Amy, the joy was in the experience and the potential for discovery, no matter how unconventional the recipe might seem. First, she began by preparing the shrimp. Amy heated a bit of oil in a pan and sautéed the shrimp until they were cooked through. The shrimp, with their tender texture and mild flavor, would likely absorb the flavors of the sauce and be complemented by the sweetness of the white chocolate. Next, Amy focused on the Alfredo sauce. She melted butter in a separate pan and then added heavy cream, letting the mixture come to a gentle simmer. As the sauce began to thicken, Amy introduced the white chocolate, stirring it in to dissolve into the creamy base. The process of melting the chocolate was somewhat delicate, as Amy had to ensure the sweetness didn't overpower the sauce. Finally, the fettuccine pasta was cooked until al dente. Amy's pasta was drained and ready to be combined with the shrimp and sauce, completing the dish. As the dish came together, Amy was clearly excited to see how it would turn out. She plated the pasta, shrimp, and white chocolate Alfredo sauce, garnishing it with a sprinkle of parsley. The dish looked appealing, creamy, rich, and inviting, but would it taste as good as it looked? The taste test. Is the combination a success? After completing the dish, Amy was eager to share her creation with her family. Her husband, Michael, and her sister Tammy were both present, and they were just as curious as the audience about how this strange combination would fare. Amy took her first bite, cautiously testing the waters. The flavors were bold, and the creaminess of the Alfredo sauce mingled with the sweet notes of white chocolate. But as Amy continued to sample the dish, it became clear that the combination wasn't quite as harmonious as she had hoped. The white chocolate, while delicious on its own, clashed with the savory elements of the dish. The shrimp, with its delicate flavor, was somewhat overpowered by the sweetness of the sauce. The creamy Alfredo, which was rich and comforting on its own, was now burdened with an odd sweetness that made it feel heavy and a little too cloying. The pasta, which should have been the perfect base for the sauce, didn't quite mesh with the unusual flavor profile. Tammy and Michael, ever the supportive family, tried the dish themselves. Tammy, who often had strong opinions about food, didn't hold back. She remarked that the dish was just too much, commenting that the sweetness of the white chocolate didn't belong in the Alfredo sauce. Michael was a little more diplomatic, acknowledging the creativity but agreeing that the combination was odd. Despite the mixed reactions, Amy remained positive about her culinary adventure. She appreciated the attempt, even if it wasn't the most successful dish she had ever made. For Amy, the joy came from experimenting in the kitchen, and she wasn't discouraged by the less than stellar results. In fact, she took it in stride, laughing off the bizarre combination and shrugging it off as a learning experience. The aftermath. Reflecting on the experiment, after the taste test, the feedback from her family was clear. The white chocolate shrimp Alfredo wasn't a dish they would be rushing to make again. The sweet and savory combination just didn't work in the way Amy had hoped. While the dish wasn't a total disaster, it certainly didn't live up to the expectations that come with a classic shrimp Alfredo. However, Amy's attempt to innovate in the kitchen was still commendable. She proved that cooking doesn't always have to follow established rules, and sometimes it's okay to take risks and experiment with new flavors. The white chocolate shrimp Alfredo might not have been the next big culinary trend, but it was a reflection of Amy's playful and creative spirit. In the end, Amy's culinary experiment became a memorable moment for fans of 1,000-Pound Sisters, offering a humorous and relatable glimpse into her life. While the dish may not have turned out as planned, it highlighted her willingness to try new things and approach cooking with an open mind. Amy Slaton's white chocolate shrimp Alfredo was certainly an odd culinary experiment, blending the savory world of shrimp and Alfredo sauce with the sweet richness of white chocolate. While the dish didn't turn out as expected and received mixed reviews, it's important to recognize the fun and creativity that went into the endeavor. For Amy, cooking is about more than just following recipes. It's about exploring new ideas, learning from mistakes, and having fun in the kitchen. In the end, Amy's white chocolate shrimp Alfredo will remain a quirky moment in her culinary journey, and a reminder that sometimes even the strangest ideas can lead to unexpected and entertaining outcomes. Fans of 1,000-Pound Sisters will likely continue to talk about the dish for years to come, not necessarily because it was a culinary masterpiece, but because it reflected the humor, warmth, and experimentation that have become synonymous with Amy's personality.